time for free money. Free money. My college football picks against the spread.
Yeah.
Came back to earth last week.
Did you?
3-6.
Ooh.
3-6. You know who really screwed me? I was cruising along. SMU's big comeback. That screwed me. I had pretty much marked that as like a W.
Yeah.
And then that gets taken out from underneath me. Was there any other one that really surprised me? I think the rest of them I just missed.
Yeah.
I thought TCU would keep it close. Like that's just just a whiff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, right now I'm 55-44-3 on the year. 55-44-3.
Getting a little tight here.
I'm not worried. I would need a complete meltdown.
You need 3 losing weekends that were pretty bad.
In these next 2 weeks.
You need like.
Here's the thing, because if I go 3-6 the next 2 weeks, I'm still above 500 because there's basically two more weeks.
All right. Well, I will root for you to really lose.
So basically, what I need to do is I need to avoid like the 1-9 is what I need to do. One of those would be really, really bad for me. So
fair enough.
In any case, Max, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games. Let's get going. What's first?
SMU traveling to the great state of Tennessee to take on Memphis. 11 a.m. Saturday. SMU, 12.5-point dog.
So what's interesting for me is that I think this could be a really high-scoring game.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If you're SMU, that's what you hope it is.
Yep.
You hope that you can get this thing, the scores up, and win this thing offensively. Because Memphis has a big offense, and it's a big passing offense. They can throw the ball. They throw the ball well. When they run the ball, which they don't run the ball much, but when they do, they run it effectively. This is a good Memphis team.
Very good.
It's a good Memphis team. There's a reason they're a 12.5-point favorite. I think they overcooked this one. I think 12.5 is a little too much.
Okay.
Not a ton too much, but I think it's a little bit too much. I think SMU can keep this within 10. I don't think they're going to win the game, but I think Memphis wins. But I think this is a single-digit game. I'll say that.
Okay.
So I'm going to take SMU plus 12.5.
Yeah.
I like the underdog in this one. I think they're going to take care of business. So
All
I'm going
right,
to take SMU
okay.
plus 12.5.
Fair enough.
What's next, Max?
Big one. Out on the South Plains, TCU taking on Texas Tech, 11 a.m. Saturday. The Horned Frogs are 7-point favorites despite the bevy of injury issues they're having.
So this is a very tough call because it's kind of a moving target.
Right.
We don't know who's going to play quarterback because Kenny Hill is questionable. We know that their starting running back, Darius Anderson, is out.
Uh-huh.
We also know that as many as 3 of their key defenders, including Traven Howard, and Montel Wilson are questionable as well. So depending on what you think of all that, that could be very bad news for TCU. That said, I think that the TCU defense should be able to bounce back and should be able to hold down the Tech offense. Now, that said, look, TCU has been bit pretty hard by the turnover bug lately.
Yeah.
And if they start turning the ball over in droves again, that's what the Tech defense does.
Right.
That is bend, don't break. You know what I mean? Like you can get some yards, but then we're gonna take the ball away from you. I still lean towards TCU. I still think they're the better team. I think that they know that they have to win this game to stay in the Big 12 title hunt. I'm gonna take TCU minus 7. I think they win this one. And I'll say I think it's 7's a good line right now. The and I'll say this: if all 5 of those questionable or all 4 of those questionable guys play, then I'm very comfortable with it.
Sure.
If 2 of them play, it's like, oh, okay, you never know. And especially if Kenny Hill doesn't play. If Kenny Hill doesn't play, I don't feel good about it at all. But with the caveat that this is a moving target, I will take TCU minus 7 at Tech.
I agree with Paul Roberts. Texas Tech plus a field goal.
So they think they win outright?
The field goal is a joke. That's the joke, Greg.
Go ahead, Max. What's next?
Killing me. Texas. Going to West Virginia, going to burn some couches. 11 a.m. Saturday. The Horns are 3.5-point dogs, and I think that is generous.
I think it's super generous.
Yeah.
This is look, Texas, like what we saw last week against them, I don't know why you would assume that Texas is going to be able to go on the road and put up some sort of fight. I don't want to say put up a fight, but stay within 3 points of West Virginia.
I mean, I want to give Texas a few points just because I appreciated Tom Herman throwing shade at Baker Mayfield by saying Will Grier was the best quarterback in the conference this week.
Sure.
I want to give him some points for that, but that's not going to work.
That's not going to win. Yeah. Like, that's not going to get them to win. Like, I don't really. This was a line that makes me think, does Vegas know something I don't? You know what I mean? Now, I will say that Texas on the road has been better than Texas at home largely.
Yeah,
you know
going
what I mean?
it's like going into West Virginia ain't going into Manhattan. You know what I mean?
But I still think West Virginia wins this one by a touchdown. I'm going to take West Virginia minus 3.5. I think they win this one pretty comfortably. What's next, Max?
The barn burner of the week, the one everyone's excited about. Rice at Old Dominion, 1 p.m. Saturday. Rice. 8.5-point dogs.
I looked this up. Where's Old Dominion? Is it in Virginia somewhere?
Ohio, Virginia, somewhere over there
Old
where
Dominion.
the Dominions are old.
Old Dominion, first of all, is a musical band. An American 5-member country musical band formed in Nashville, Tennessee.
Sounds about right.
But that's not what we're looking for.
ODU.
ODU is in Norfolk, Virginia.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, of course it is. So the Rice is traveling Norfolk, Virginia.
Where the Dominions are old.
Look, Old Dominion is not a particularly awesome football team, but that hasn't really when has that ever mattered?
Not a giant tire fire.
Like, when has that ever mattered against Texas, against Rice?
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. Like, we did see a spark offensively from Rice.
Right.
And I will say that Old Dominion can't score. Their offense stinks.
Yeah.
Their offense is pretty bad. So if they can find that spark, this game is there for Rice.
Right.
But it is not a reasonable argument to expect Rice to do a good thing.
No.
It's just not.
Never.
Like, for example, Rice beat the spread last week. That's a perfect example of one that I thought was in the bag.
Right.
And they ended up beating the spread.
Yeah.
But that's a surprise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not. It is not reasonable for me to pick that. I'm gonna take Old Dominion minus 8.5. What's next, Max?
My beloved Iowa State Cyclones traveling into Waco to take on Baylor. 1:30 p.m. Saturday. The Bears are 9.5-point dogs.
Give us the insight on the Iowa State injury situation.
Well, we got a quarterback issue here. Kyle Kemp hurt his shoulder in the last game. Basically got pulled. Redshirt freshman Zeb Noland.
You can always trust a man named Zeb.
That's right. Came in, was fine, but I think about halfway through the second half, Glenn Spencer, the Oklahoma State defensive coordinator, realized, oh, he's a kid. Let's just blitz him, and he won't know what to do, and that was true.
Right.
I still like Iowa State in the trenches. I like their defense, and I like their run game way better than anything Baylor's got right now.
You hit the nail on the head with the defense because here's the thing. What about this Baylor offense lately has given you the idea that they're going to be able to light it up against a good – well, we think –
Charlie's pretty good,
right,
but it's just not enough
But
there.
Here's the thing. We're pretty sure that there are only – is it fair to say there are only two defenses in the Big 12 that we would say are good? Like, Iowa State's a good team and Texas is a good defense, right?
Yeah.
Is that fair?
I mean, TCU's a good defense.
I'm sorry, no, TCU as well.
Those
so
three are pretty clear.
There's three.
Yeah.
And look what's happened when they face Texas. Completely shut down.
Yeah.
I expect the same thing. And so, whereas, like, I don't know what Iowa State's going to throw out there offensively, I don't know if it matters because I don't know if Baylor's going to be able to score enough. So I'm going to take Iowa State minus 9.5. I think they cover it. It's an interesting line just because Iowa State is so beat up offensively, but I just don't think it's going to matter because they might win this game like 24-7.
It could get interesting if the freshman has to start and he just has a meltdown.
Maybe.
But other than that, we'll see.
What's next?
Texas State going to Arkansas State, 2 p.m. Saturday, in a place where the poor Bobcats are 26.5-point underdogs.
Max?
And I have no idea.
Max?
Arkansas State's awesome.
Arkansas State's super good, Max. Arkansas State's super good.
Yeah.
Max? I'm going to take Texas State.
You're going to take them? Okay.
I will say this. I think the Texas State offense is trending up.
Yeah.
That the way that they're playing right now, we've talked about it, that's basically 2 good games in a row they've put together. Now, look, Arkansas State's a lot better than them.
Yeah.
Arkansas State's going to win.
And it's on the road. And you're still...
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still doing it.
All right.
I think the offense is going to be able to score enough to keep this thing close.
I think it's
not close, but I think they're going to lose like 48-24 instead of 48-7.
I think it's only fair that someone else feel Ishmael Johnson's pain every week by getting your hopes up inappropriately.
I am happy to feel that pain. I'm taking Texas State plus 26.5. Let's do it, Bobcats. Let's do it. What's next, Max?
It's like you're asking to lose and fall behind 500. Louisiana Tech coming to El Paso, 2 p.m. Saturday. UTEP, 17-point dogs.
Yeah, I mean, par for the course, right? Like Louisiana Tech is a good team.
Yes.
I don't think they're an elite team, but they're fine
good
team, and generally that's been enough to beat UTEP by whatever score you want to beat them
Sun
by.
Bowl is the home to #weird football, but it probably won't happen here.
Yeah, I just don't foresee that happening. I'm going to take Louisiana Tech. I just don't think that UTEP offense can score.
Yeah.
I mean, they basically got that one short field, like they got the defensive touchdown.
Defensive touchdown, yeah.
And then they were shut down by North Texas, who for as good much as we like North Texas,
not a great defense.
Not a defensive powerhouse.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Louisiana Tech -17. What's next?
Houston going to New Orleans. I love it. 3 p.m. Saturday. The Cougs, 9.5-point favorites over my lovely wife's beloved Green Wave.
That's right. She is a Green Waver. That's great. So the thing about Tulane that's interesting is that they're essentially only good at two very specific things. They are good at running the ball, which does not bode well against Houston, who tends to be pretty decent at stopping the run. Not great, but decent, right? The front seven is what we look at as the strength of the Houston defense. And they do not give up a ton of completions. In fact, they are 17th in the nation in opposing completion percentage, which is interesting. That's basically the only two things they do well. But they still give up big plays.
Yeah, it's still more than they've been doing in the past. I mean, Willie Fritz has done a great job there,
yes.
but let's not pretend like this is suddenly a scary thing for Houston.
I also think that with an extra week to prepare, Houston's going on the road. I think that they'll be able to take care of business. I'm taking Houston here. I like Houston -9.5 to cover that.
I like
What's
that
next,
too.
Max?
Army going to Denton, taking on North Texas, 5:30 p.m. Saturday. The Mean Green, slim 2.5-point favorites,
Which is kind of weird, but then
surprising. But I think you were saying before the show, Army's got their number.
Army has absolutely had their number, and it's just very odd to see that you go back to last year, they beat them twice, right?
Yeah.
They beat them twice, albeit in close games, but they beat them twice. This is a typical Army team.
Yeah.
You know what they're going to do.
Right.
They're going to run the triple option. They're going to run it straight at you. Their defense is not great, especially against the run. It's really bad against the run. And it's not that great against the pass either. I think that's what ends up winning out. I think North Texas wins this one. I think they win this one by about 7 to 10 points. I like North Texas -2.5. Look, Army is what they are. This is not a bad Army team, but I just think North Texas is better, and they've got their eyes set on winning the outright Conference USA championship. And this is not a non-conference game, but I think they're rolling right now. So
there's an extra bit of drama here for you and I, which leads into the perfect segue for the next game. This belt over my shoulder is mine right now. This is the last week of the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Media Fantasy Football League.
On Monday, it may be draped over my shoulder.
You are in a comfortable, I believe, 40-something point lead right now.
Yeah.
I have North Texas this week. You have our next game. And basically, whoever wins that game could swing the thing back to me.
Yeah.
There's a chance
I just thought about I'll talk to you after the show, but I do want to make a change. But anyway.
Yeah, you're going to make a change? All right. Okay.
All right.
Either way,
yes.
The reason is you have to take Texas A&M, who's going to Oxford this weekend, 6 p.m. Saturday, and the Aggies are 2.5-point dogs.
Which I don't like.
To a really bad Ole Miss team.
Man, that is, you want to talk about, honestly, disrespecting a team. Vegas is flat out saying to Texas A&M, we don't think you're very good.
Right.
Now, look, Ole Miss's offense has actually been pretty decent.
Right.
I know that it's been kind of, they've run up the score in a couple of games, but cumulatively, the offense has not been bad, especially throwing the ball. That said, their defense is not very good. A&M should be able to run the ball at will. Look, I'm taking A&M. I think A&M's going to win this game outright. Right. So I'll take A&M +2.5 in this one. I think that they win this game outright. It's a night game in Oxford. I'll say this. A&M should win this game. And if they don't, all that does is crank up the propane on the heat, on the hot seat.
If they don't win this game, it's like, okay, he through the end of the season, but we're clearly going a different direction.
I will take A&M +2.5 there. And finally, Max,
The Thundering Herd stampede into San Antonio, charge through the Alamo doors, 6 p.m. Saturday to take on your UTSA Roadrunners. This is a pick'em.
It is a pick'em.
Vegas has got no clue.
Which is super interesting to me. And to me, what I look at is you've got kind of I'm really worried about the UTSA offense, and not just because they haven't been good lately, but they're also going up against what's been an excellent Marshall defense. It's been a very good Marshall defense. Now, I don't think this Marshall offense is anything special. I don't think it is. But I do think that at home, seniors closing out the Alamo Dome for them, going with the Roadrunners. Give me Meep.
All right.
I'm going Meep in a pick'em. I think they find a way to get off the schneid and beat Marshall.
Fair
and
enough.
By the way, they better, because otherwise they're probably not going bowling.
That's probably true.
So those are my free money picks. I like SMU plus 12.5 at Memphis. I like TCU minus 7 at Texas Tech. I like West Virginia minus 3.5 at home against Texas. Old Dominion minus 8.5 versus Rice. I like Iowa State minus 9.5 at Baylor. I like Texas State plus 26.5 at Arkansas State. I like Louisiana Tech minus 17 at UTEP. I like Houston minus 9.5 at Tulane. I like North Texas minus 2.5 at home against Army. I like Texas A&M plus 2.5 at Ole Miss, and I like UTSA in a pick'em over Marshall, and that is free money.